Hey, 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 happy July. This is the last show of July, but coming to you live from the South Lamar studios. We're back to this studio.
Hey.
It's the outdoor stream because there's no teaming without us building. It's a work in progress. We got told by leadership, shout out Austin Robertson, that we should say something that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
So we'll have to change whatever you came up with, Hagen. I'm
I
sorry.
did not come up with that. But
So stay tuned for a new catchphrase coming to
Woohoo.
a audio or stream near you.
That's right.
But beside that, how are you, Hagen?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be back in our studio. The Connect events, I thought I only went to one, but from what I gather, they were all very successful. I enjoyed my time at the event.
This was your second one, right? 'Cause
Yes.
You've been here now a year.
I guess it was my second
Happy
and a half. I don't know
anniversary.
how to. Right, I did the one in Waco, and then we did the one in the training room downstairs. Now the
Okay.
Oasis room, and then now we're here. Well, then we did the one at Ann Richards, and now we're here. But yeah, I guess second-ish. Yeah, so it was great. This is like your 12th.
Oh, yeah. I stop keeping track just because, time flies when you're having fun.
God, I can't wait till I'm at that point.
Really?
Sure, I think that'd be
Yeah.
exciting. Hagen's been here 5 years. Maybe. If James can keep me.
You, James, can keep you.
Uh-huh.
Hot take.
Uh-huh.
Looking or jumping ahead, but
Right,
we'll
right.
keep that for later.
Uh,
But what is R&D up to?
Well, R&D, we're wrapping up some of our projects that we've been working on. A few, let's see, I guess 2 web apps. Yeah, 2 web apps and then a dashboard, all kind of hitting their end of beta test phase. And so we'll kind of release those and get some feedback from the end users. But for myself, yeah, you are one of those end users. For myself, I am working on a little report about embodied carbon. So
That's down your alley, isn't it?
it
Dr.
is.
Fritz?
Yeah, I know. I already have. I've
Finally
only
using your degree for something.
written 3, maybe 3 or 4 paragraphs. 8 references
okay, so
already.
Paper, like, well, he's a
8.
real achiever.
No.
No, really.
No. I'm just telling you because you know how I like my references. So
Oh, yeah, like 14 pages.
there's gonna be plenty of references.
Oh, my.
Oh.
Your student self is coming back out.
That's right. Yeah. But and other than that, there's some stuff in the works that James and I aren't quite ready to chat about yet.
Ooh,
But
what is it?
we're not quite ready to chat about it. But
That's
it's
right.
exciting stuff. What about you in VDC, or do you know stuff about the company?
No, I think just the biggest update on the Oro Connect.
What was your? I mean, how did you enjoy?
I had
the
a great
Connect?
time.
Yeah.
I
okay.
actually went to the San Antonio one for the first time.
Oh, how was that?
It was fun. They had a great location. I think they might have won in location for
Really?
Connect.
Okay.
Might be a little biased, but when you're in 24-story coin shell office and you can see one of our projects outside,
Nice.
it's
That's
kinda
pretty cool.
nice.
Oh yeah, you showed me pictures. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, so it's pretty nice. And they don't get to
Little
see.
jelly.
Well, you should have gone. I invited you.
You did invite me. Yes, I know.
Yeah. But it was fun seeing some people I don't get to see often. But besides that, I know BDC does have a bit of Revit training happening in Dallas right now. So
Oh.
some of our people, if you haven't noticed, are not here
I
this
did
week.
notice. Yeah,
So there's
my buddies.
some people from San Antonio and Austin drove up to Dallas for a full week of training. Hopefully this will help them learn something new, but also maybe refine their saw. That's not the phrase. Sharpening their saw. Maybe they can sharpen their saw. So, but besides that,
Absolutely.
working hard.
Of course, always. Oh yeah, you were just running around like crazy this morning.
I know. Couldn't find my breakfast.
I was trying to say you were busy, but I guess.
Oh, yes. Also busy.
Yes.
But besides that, you know what else is happening in this show today?
Yes, in 5-ish minutes. Wait, are we thinking about the same thing?
I think so.
Okay. We are going to announce the winners
Winners, multiple.
of the AI powered construction challenge. Yes,
Yeah.
the votes are in. They've been tallied.
They've
You
been
and I-
double checked.
They've actually only been single checked because James won't tell us anything about it. So we are going to be just as surprised as the viewers. Do you know who won?
I cannot do.
Oh. What?
Ooh, spoiler.
Oh,
I
interesting.
do not know.
Oh, okay.
I do,
Oh, we're very confused.
no, I do not know.
But yeah, so that'll be we'll talk about that shortly. But
Before that,
before that,
it's time
if
for
we
our
could
new.
get the wheel out,
It's time for a new friend who joins us on stage, Mr. Willie.
Mr. Wheelie. Yeah, I guess that's his working name.
No, this is Donald Helms.
Right.
Mr.
Right.
Wheelie.
No, this is Mr. Wheelie.
Yeah.
Although I like Mr. Wheelie for James. That's a good nickname.
No, he's Cable Man.
Oh, the Cable Master.
Okay, sorry.
Cable Master.
Um,
I'll
do you
to
wanna-
give reference for the Cable Master because I feel like
Oh.
people want to kind of know what
Sure,
that
sure,
means.
sure, sure.
Most of the cables that you see here in the shot, those have been manufactured by James Holmes.
Donald.
James
Holmes.
Donald Holmes, yes. So he's the Cable Master because I think you can hear us. So
Hopefully.
he made working cables.
If there's some statistic happening. Static. No
Oh,
statistic. That's not the numbers.
let's just spin the wheel. Yeah.
Your turn.
Oh, my turn. Okay. I can't read it, so
That's a weak
Okay, okay,
speed.
okay,
Who
okay.
taught you how to spin a wheel?
I didn't. My dad never taught me.
That makes two of us.
He was never around.
Ooh,
Yeah.
and the winner
On
is
the wheel, we have a blank spot.
Oh,
looks
that's
like
exciting.
Some round the world, round the world.
Oh, he just can't read.
He
That's right.
can't read. It's okay. He's old. Take it away,
Building
Dr.
around.
Fritz.
Well, I don't understand. If we're gonna do building around the world,
Yes.
there's currently Mr. Wheelie in the shot, but we'll see if Mr. Wheelie wheels on out of
It's
here.
okay.
But in that interim, so I'm going to do a little building around the
Oh,
world.
yeah, your turn. I'm
and I
the
have-
listener. I'm the audience.
Yeah, just sit back and relax,
Yeah.
buddy.
Teach me around the world. What's
Oh,
happening?
Well, this is actually, it's not even mine. I have to shout out Josh Beck from VDC.
VDC.
Yes, he likes to send me some articles every now and again. And this one is about the New York Permeable Concrete Corridor.
Ooh.
So
You love New York.
I do love New York, and I do love permeable concrete. And this just combines both. So it's a street on 108th Street, and they're using porous concrete to help absorb some of the stormwater. Like in cities, especially built-up cities like New York, you remove all the impermeable surfaces. Permeable surfaces, right, like the ground, with asphalt and concrete and all that good stuff that we helped build. Well, not in New York, but here in Texas. And so then that stormwater has nowhere to go, so it just builds up and goes straight to the drains, right? And just builds up and builds up and builds up, and you have all these sorts of problems like sewers going the wrong way, and that's a whole issue. Right. So that's what this corridor, this length of street, I don't know how long the street is, but I do know it will save 1.3 million gallons of stormwater. I guess if there's a huge rain event.
Do you know where that water is going now?
It's just going to be absorbed in the concrete, and then it would be kind of evaporated off as the sun comes back out. But the street had been damaged by Hurricane Sandy back in 2012, and so they wanted to get kind of a little bit more sustainable efforts, in a sense, to this stretch of road. It began back in 2021, and it actually finished last month, June 2023.
No. Wow.
So that's pretty exciting. So kudos to New York and the peeps up there for helping to mitigate things like stormwater runoff. That's amazing. And it's in Queens, New York. I didn't mention exactly which
Yeah.
borough
Go
in
Queens.
New York. And it was $16.6 million. So not that much, right, in the grand scheme of things.
It's a good amount.
It's a good amount, but, it's
It seems like it's gonna be able to also maybe help with the trash issues. In the sense if there's less
Yeah,
little rivers
right.
happening.
yeah,
But-
I would think so.
That's pretty innovative topic you have.
Yes.
So.
I thought it was pretty neat. It's definitely something that I value.
Oh, that's great.
And so thank you to Josh for sending that out.
But you know what's maybe more innovative than that? Or
No.
AI challenge winners.
Oh, yes. Unless, of course, it was me. Then it's not innovative at all.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Oh.
But I hope I win.
But before that, let's close out our segment for Around the
the
World.
world. Yes, yes, yes.
And I think now, the audience waiting. We can hear the peanut
I
gallery
can hear
chanting.
them, yes.
Uh,
We want to know.
but I think they're ready to hear who the winners are.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Is James ready?
I don't know if he is.
We'll just wait here until he's ready.
Cable Man, Master.
Cable Master, here he comes.
Ooh. Oh.
Ooh, that must mean it might be you.
Yikes.
So this is our, so there's no order. Is this our number 5?
Yeah, they were.
Wait, 1 second.
They were ranked, so though each prize winner is receiving the same prize, there was a number 1 most voted idea, as well as a 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So these are in reverse ranking, but again, each person will be receiving the same prize, which is a year's subscription of ChatGPT Premium, as well as a $250 Visa card.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, so starting with numero
Number
cinco, we have.
And the winner
Excuse me.
is
Garrett Pesnell.
Woo! Clap,
Woo!
clap, clap,
Yeah,
clap, 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 clap,
a
clap.
guest of the show.
he was.
With his AI-powered project analysis and summary.
Ooh.
Um,
Can you give us a summary of what that is?
I can. I have the.
If there's also a dashboard called Iris where you can quickly pull this up.
Well, I'm on the innovation station, but yes, we do have Iris. That would have been smarter to do since
my
it is
your
a
own
bit
tool.
faster.
Your own tool.
But in short, his idea was to utilize AI to analyze the drawings and specs when we receive an RFQ or RFP to produce a summary brief for the pursuit team and eventually the project team. So just
Nice.
summarizing that RFQ and RFP, something that I think is definitely reasonable and could
I think congratulations,
Yeah.
Garrett. Coming to the
Yay,
next one.
Garrett.
With number 4, the winner for the 4th ranked is Nick Vargo with
Ooh, Nick.
AI to check scope gaps.
Woohoo! Way to go, Nick! Wow.
Go, Nick. Clap, 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 clap. Do you have a quick summary of that one?
Working on it.
So
Internet's
it's not
slow.
ready. So
I don't know who won. I have to check every time you say something. Yes, AI to check scope gaps. I propose that we can leverage AI to help us mitigate risk during the buyout of a job. With AI, we could upload a copy of the Exhibit B scope sheet and ask it to compare the drawings for the electrical scope.
yeah, sounds very similar to the idea I submitted, like the record show.
Okay. Well, congrats,
But
Nick.
Congrats, Nick.
Yeah, great idea.
Coming at number 3, we
Ooh,
have
number 3. Jim Schwartz.
Jim
wow.
Schwartz
A
with his
friend of the
idea
show.
of-
Scheduling AI. This was, I think, our first idea in the challenge that was submitted. But as the idea suggests, hold on, it's loading. Oh, it was estimating AI. Different one that he submitted. The same idea. But, using AI and machine learning algorithms to, kind of make our schedules more efficient and just optimize them so that we're not having these excessive lead times or things of that nature. So
perfect. Congratulations,
congrats,
Jim.
Jims. Yeah.
That was number 3. We had 2 to go.
2 to go.
Coming at number 2, we have Justin Stewart with project schedule optimization.
Oh, okay.
Give us a quick summary for that one, Hagen.
Well, it's similar to what I just did. So it can analyze project requirements, available resources, and constraints to generate an optimized construction schedule.
Nice.
So- I think, they both had fantastic ideas. So congratulations, Justin.
Congrats, Justin. And number 1, the one same prize, but that was
Oh, that's
voted the most.
Oh, that's right.
So the winner for most ranked, best ranked idea on the AI challenge is
Oh, it's you. It's Bruno Cicchini.
Woohoo!
Scope gaps, subcontracts, and
Oh,
how
there you
to
go.
fix them. Yeah, there you go.
What's my idea about?
What's your idea about?
I'll let you read it.
Okay, I gotta find it real quick. Well, congrats.
Ooh. Yes, I know.
Oh, there it is. It's right there.
Okay.
Catchy
Here,
little
let's read it.
title. How to fix them. I love it. AI to automate the process of generating subcontracts and identifying scope gaps, based on the information available in a drawing set. By leveraging AI, PMs would be able to reduce the time and resources required for these tasks, allowing them to focus on more critical aspects of the project. And you go into a little bit more detail, but
Yeah.
that's a
Trying to
basic
help our
summary.
PMs out because I know there's a lot of reading and gaps that are missed and contracts that have to be read. So
It's a very important thing.
let's bridge that gap.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
congrats.
Congrats to not only me, but also all the other winners. So congrats. You should be hearing from James soon, I'm assuming, to get your reward and kind of
Yes.
make the logistics for that. But we're all winners here today, Hank, because we have
That's
a special guest today that we can't wait to hear about.
That's absolutely right. Great transition. The applause is still going because that's how great the
it's an
transition
exciting
was.
day. It's such an exciting day. But this fella, I haven't had the honor of even meeting or really getting to know him. But I'm looking forward to hearing what he does. He works from the Dallas office. I do know he started 9 months before I did.
Oh,
So that puts him, I think, at RO for about 7 years now.
7 years. Wow.
I think so. It's a long time.
That is a long time.
He's unfortunately an Aggie, Texas A&M, Central Texas. But he's been with us a good amount of time, and he works in as a shop mechanic for RO. So I'm intrigued to listen to what he has to say.
Absolutely.
So without further ado, we have Benjamin DeLeon.
Woo, Benjamin! Right,
Right
after
after this
this commercial
commercial.
break.
You've had the emails come in, you've seen the text messages, been talking about it for quite some time now, and the time has come and gone, and hopefully your multi-factor authentication is set up. Dr. Fritz, what is the multi-factor authentication? What does that mean?
It is a way of authenticating in multiple ways. So not only are you required to use your password, but you will now need to use something like a text message sent to your phone, or what's recommended is the actual Microsoft Authentication app, which you can download on your smartphone. And when you try to log in, it'll send a little code to your smartphone, and you'll have to go to the app and then type in the code, and then you can be authenticated and have access to all your RO things.
There you go. And that's going to make your account more secure. All the crazy cyber things going on out there in the world, this will ensure that you have the lowest amount of possible risk. And I know our IT department has done a great job of putting together some how-tos on
Playbook.
I believe there's a half-hour video taking you through each step, showing you how to piece and pull it all together so you can have full authentication into your Microsoft account. Anything else, Dr. Fritz?
Have you set it up?
As a matter of fact, I have. I did so this morning.
How easy was it for you?
You know, very easy. By the time you're watching this, has already happened. So hopefully you've done it. If you haven't, reach out to your regional IT managers, put in a help desk ticket, give them a call. I guess if you don't have internet or email access and all that, you're going to have a hard time getting a help desk ticket in. But find a way to get a hold of them, and I'm sure they can get you squared away. Unfortunately, there's no alternative. It's something you're going to have to do, so might as well jump on the bandwagon and be happy about it. Enjoy security, right? We Americans, we love security.
Absolutely.
Social security, military security,
Home automation security.
automation security, maximum security.
Wow.
You got security all over the place.
Everywhere.
Go get your security today. Tracks. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the never-ending repair.
Attention-seeking piece of equipment.
Seriously. It seems like anything with hydraulics, but Skytrax just gets so much abuse.
Right.
Kind of feel bad for them to some degree.
Rough terrain, they get treated roughly.
Well, Mr. Benjamin DeLeon.
Yes, sir, James. Pleasure
Thank-
to be here. Kind
Yeah.
of nervous, but
It's all good. Thank you for making the trip down from Dallas today. And I guess you're a little outside of Dallas, right? Out there in the yard.
right out. Yeah, Regal Road transitions into Shady Grove, which is about 4 or 5 miles from the office.
Oh, okay.
Irving, so it's not too far.
Gotcha. So, I know nothing about Dallas. I know there's a city somewhere to the north of me and that there's a lot of traffic and a lot of people. And that's about the extent of my knowledge of Dallas,
Right.
short of the RO office. For those that aren't familiar there, Benjamin, what's your current role here at RO?
I am the shop mechanic, so my role is to PM and repair all of our RO-owned equipment and small tools.
Okay.
So we have our own fleet of Skytrax, skid steers, box blades, air compressors, light towers, just a vast amount of equipment. So
Probably just about everything you need to build a building.
pretty much, and what we don't have, we're able to subcontract with the major equipment rental places, United, Ahern. Well, no longer Ahern. They were
Yeah.
bought up by United, Sunbelt, Sunstate. So we're able to get the bigger equipment from them.
I still have a couple of those Ahern pencils floating around the garage somewhere. Not seeing them.
Right.
In memoriam, right?
Right.
Might be an antique here in the near future. Oh man, you mentioned PM. I assume that's preventative maintenance on the equipment.
Right, periodic maintenance.
Periodic
and,
maintenance,
yeah,
okay.
So a lot of the machines require the fuel filters to be changed on a schedule, as well as the oil filters and the hydraulics and certain other sensors and stuff.
So, what does the kind of day-to-day for you look like? I think most of the folks at RO don't have a mechanics type of background or anything like that, so they may only be aware of showing up at 3 a.m. to pour concrete and going home at 6 after you lock the gate up.
Day to day is really so different. You really don't know what to expect in terms of what you're going to do. You can plan to have certain things that you're going to do, But at the end of the day, every day is its own unique challenge. You can get a call from a job site where a machine has gone down. You have to go out and service it or try to figure out what's going on with it. We do have the superintendents will try to give us a couple days, hopefully, advance notice of equipment that they'll be needing. So we try to keep that in schedule in terms of what we have ready in terms of our fleet to send out to the job sites. So you never know what you're going to face from day to day. You really don't.
I suppose that's the fun in it too, right? You're
Right.
never showing up and like, oh, another day of the same.
You never have the same day twice. It doesn't matter what you think you got going on. Something's always going to give or change. So you got to be planned for those contingencies and be very flexible in stuff that you do.
Do you have any parts of your job that are like your absolute favorite? Do you get super stoked whenever someone calls you in and says, hey, we blew the injection pump on a 10K? Can you?
Oh yeah, we got a hydraulic hose just leaking trail all the way down the road. I just love those calls. You just pack up your diapers and your oil absorbent, and you go figure out which hose blew and how you're going to fix it. And it's always at the worst possible spot in the worst possible place.
And no one calls you ahead of time. No one calls you whenever like, hey, the fluid is, I'm adding a gallon a day to it. They wait until the hydraulics stop working entirely or until a light comes on or something like that. So you've got this mess of fluid to dig through.
Right. And a lot of it's not their fault because when a hose goes, it goes. It doesn't just blow out over time. When the pressure on those hydraulics, of course, is very dangerous to a degree sometimes. And so when it blows, sometimes they don't give you enough information. They'll tell you, hey, we just got our machines down. I think it's leaking, but it's lost half. It's like 10 gallons of hydraulic fluid. And you're like, okay, let's go see what's going on over here. And that's kind of always an adventure, I guess is the way to say it.
I could believe that. We have the RO equipment you go out there and fix, and then we also have the rented equipment from United or whomever. Is it a very different process for you as far as how you guys kind of manage those different pieces of equipment? Is it easier to have one piece on a job site as compared to another?
So the equipment there's certain things that go wrong with that type of equipment, and you just kind of expect it to, like with the light tower, you expect the bulbs to blow, you expect to fuse, or on the skid steers, if the fuel's been contaminated, you need to go replace those. You have to stay up on that. The tracks have to be greased. So there's no really bad piece of equipment. It's just you try to maintain them all the same, and a lot of it just overlaps. I know you would think that you have telehandlers out here, skid steers, box blades, even the smaller, newer Georgia track buggies, but they all just have their own protocols and maintenance schedules. And when you're doing that, you just take it as it comes. Like the breakdowns are sometimes due to an operator having a problem, or sometimes the machine itself. And a lot of our equipment is not so dissimilar that we can't figure it out, because basic mechanics applies to all of it, I guess.
Every engine needs fuel.
Right. Everyone has a starter. Everyone has an ignition. Sometimes you get at the job site, somebody will stick the wrong key in the ignition and it'll stick, and you have to go out and replace that ignition. So to a degree, you know what to expect when the superintendent or the project manager calls and say, hey, we got a skid steer down. It's an ignition issue. You know what you got to go do. So they give us pretty good information. And if they can't, I'll call and I'll try to find out more from like the foreman or somebody else on the job site to find out specifically what we need to do to resolve that issue.
What could we all be doing as RO employees? I'm thinking probably more superintendents, PMs, QMs, and such. What can they be doing to make life at the yard better? Like, do you guys have any pet peeves where you're like, I really hate whenever someone calls me and says, yeah, it doesn't work? Or
right. So going back to just basic SOPs, there's things that you do before you operate equipment, and after you get done operating, you have to go through, like, you check the oil, you check the coolant, you check the hydraulic levels, you make sure it's not leaking, you make sure that your safety pins and your lock pins are all in place. So you do an overall. You're supposed to do an overall walk around. Excuse me, on the equipment, and sometimes that, due to time or people just being in a hurry, that doesn't get done. And so when the machine breaks down, you don't know why, and you get out there and you find out, well, this could have been prevented had we just done our checks or had we done our maintenance on it, or somebody made a call, like you said, and when the light first comes on, you call us, we go down there, we take care of it, versus waiting till the machine actually shuts down and is actually lost an engine or something like that. That's expensive and that's time consuming.
Big time. Not only is it time consuming, I would imagine with the lead times, it impacts the construction materials, but probably also stuff that you guys need too, right? Whether it be engines or sensors or hydraulic rams.
Right, because as with construction, there's been kind of a lag in supply and getting parts, and so a lot of these machines are industry specific or part specific to that manufacturer, so you can't get something as simple as an O-ring. You can't go buy it at Granger. You can't go buy it at a regular store. You have to order it through that vendor, and sometimes there's a lead time of 6 to 8 months, and you'll have a piece of equipment that's down just because it needs a pump, and you can't get it anywhere else except that supplier, and you're just down on that piece of equipment, which really there's no point in it sometimes if you just do simple things like pay attention.
It's so painful. We don't have time to stop and figure out why that light's on, but we have time to wait 6 months for a new part to come in,
Right.
because you know what I mean. It's like if we just, you could, to your point, you could have prevented that. Like, this didn't have to happen.
Right, and that's kind of annoying, but it's just part of the job. It's, I guess they call it job security.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, I think that's check engine light isn't, it's not check that your engine's there.
Right.
Check it to figure out what's wrong with it.
Right, and so like the biggest thing is like these machines require a lot of grease to stay well lubed and to move and all that, and when they're not, things break. And so that's kind of a pet peeve as well, is maintenance and taking care of our equipment, because it's our equipment, and who wouldn't want to take care? It's kind of like wise stewardship. You want to maintain your equipment because if we can get as much out of it as possible, then we can use that revenue or that money to get newer equipment and other things rather than repairing the same piece of equipment over and over.
That's such a great point. Something I think often gets kind of forgotten about, because you guys are, you're the yard, you're not the project. So there's kind of, I don't think there's malintent on anyone's behalf, but it's
Right.
easy to look at a piece of equipment and say, oh, it's not really my problem. But at the end of the day, it is. If that thing goes, if that, forklift or all-train or pressure washer, whatever, goes down for a couple of months for repair, that's us now renting or buying another one. It's down. Someone else can't use it. Like, there's a lot of greater impacts. And at the end of the
Right.
day, we're all at RO. We're all pulling from the same pool of money.
Right. We're all trying to, achieve the same common goal, which is to make the company better, make it more profitable, bottom line.
Yeah.
So.
That's, got to take care of your tools, right?
Right,
wipe them
right.
down at the end of the day, clean it up, keep it greased.
Yeah, gotta be responsible for that stuff. So
How'd you end up at RO, Benjamin?
that's kind of I ask myself that same question because I was actually working for a nonprofit program called the Prison Entrepreneurship Program, where I was in charge of some people that were released, and we were able to get them jobs. And one of the resources we had for job employment is Rogers O'Brien. Pat O'Brien was really big on the program, and we actually had one of the transitional houses named after him. It's the
wow.
O'Brien House. It's actually in North Dallas. And so I'd had the privilege of getting exposure with Rogers O'Brien, and we were able to get a couple of candidates employment with Rogers O'Brien that turned out to be really successful. Of course, you had some people that didn't take advantage of the great opportunity to work with such a great company. And I was just looking around. I think I'd gone about as far as I wanted to go with that company, and an opportunity came up and one of the recruiters, he said, "Hey, I got this job. They have their own fleet, and I was managing our fleet of vehicles as well with that company, and I kind of misunderstood what the position was. And I was like, oh, so there I was now working for Rogers O'Brien. I had to kind of get it figured out. But so that's how I ended up with Rogers O'Brien.
Oh, that's funny. That sounds about right for a recruiter, though.
Right.
You're like, yeah, so is this what it is? Yeah. It's exactly what you want it to be. Nothing more,
Right.
nothing less. It'll be
Right.
the best job ever.
Right.
You get there, and it might be the best job ever, but you're looking at the list of things and be like, this isn't quite what you described originally.
Right. And it turned out to be a major opportunity and blessing in my life. I didn't know which direction. I just basically moved to Dallas about 3 years prior to that. And so I was still trying to find what I wanted to be when I grew up, so to speak. And mechanicking has always been something I've done and something I've always learned from an early age. My grandparents, my grandpa had his own truck industry where he had dump trucks and tractors, and so I was always watching him fix and repair them, and he was always having me hand him tools, and he was always working on his cars. He'd always buy this fixer-upper, so we were always fixing something. So
Very cool. That's not all I can think of. You know, you're talking about your grandfather's the what was it, a Christmas Story where the kid's out there with the flashlight.
right, hold the light.
The bane of every child's existence.
Right, that's not a crescent wrench.
That's how you learn, though, right?
Right.
Little bit of ball busting here and there to
Right.
thicken that skin. No, that's interesting. Yeah, you coming from the prisoner entrepreneurship program there and managing that over to RO. I knew that we had ties with that. I didn't realize that Mr. O'Brien was so involved, so as to have one of the homes named after him. That's very cool.
Yeah, he's him and Ginger. They were very supportive of the program, and as well as I believe Preston is as well. And so it was kind of seeing it from an outside, and you heard about Rogers O'Brien, and then the house was named after him, and that was one of the houses I was over, as well as the one that was in East Dallas. And so I'd known about the company, and I'd heard a lot of good things about the company, but now being a part of the company, it's like, wow, it's so much better. So
What do you love about RO now that you've been here for 5 years or so?
the people are just, we have phenomenal people. Everybody has such a, when you look at it, the personalities that come together, you know, I have the advantage of getting to go to different job sites at different times. So I get more of an exposure to different people than people that work as a group or a crew. You have these crews that come in and or teams, and they work together, but I get to go to different job sites, and I get to meet the different superintendents, the different quality managers, project managers, and it's just really nice to meet such a diverse group of people that are all willing to help, all willing to share, you know, very patient. I love the culture. I love the things that we do to get together as employees. You know, of course, the 50-year was a really big deal. That was really great. You got to meet so many people from Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, and it's just, I haven't met any bad people. it's a good
Till
company.
today.
Nah, I haven't even met any bad people up in Austin. I know y'all say keep Austin weird, but
I think the people that say keep Austin weird haven't been to many other places than Austin.
right.
You go to, you know, Portland or San Francisco or New York for that sake. You know, New Orleans can get pretty
weird.
strange. Yeah.
Colorado.
You know, whole state. Yeah. You know, a whole city of folks there that just wear sandals around year round. It's weird. There's people out there in Boulder. I don't know what their deal is.
But yeah, it's the people, the really good group of people, and it's you look at how the company positions itself, and they're just very strategic, and they do their best to bring on the best people, and they have a really strong culture, and that's what I like. I like the way that the integrity of the people, they do what needs to be done, and they don't make excuses, and they're always looking for ways to improve. So that's one thing I like about RO.
Gosh, yeah, that's to me. I think I've probably said it in every job interview I've had in my life, but I'd rather be cleaning porta johns with a great group of people than building the coolest buildings in the world with a bunch of a-holes.
Right.
Like, it's just not. It's life is too short and sweet to not enjoy it. You're going to spend more time with the people you work with than almost anyone else in your life.
Right.
So find some folks you get along with that you enjoy being around. And
8 to 10 hours a day, or some people longer, you know, and it's so it does help to have good coworkers.
what do you like to do for fun?
Fun. What is
so,
that?
so that's that thing you do outside of well,
Oh,
sometimes outside
of work. Oh, I love to get greasy. Oh no, no,
You're
I
a
like
pig wrestler.
Yes, I do. No, I just like to do things with my family. Just kind of travel here and there. We like to go to museums and check things out. We like to go different places. To just we went camping during Memorial Day. That was great, you know, and we just love to be together and have good food and enjoy that time.
That's all I'm going to ask for, right? Go
Yeah.
be able to spend time with them and enjoy it. And
Right.
thinking Memorial Day is like, oh, it was nice and cool out there. It was like, in the 80s or 90s, not
Right.
100 for the whole weekend.
So it was good to have people over that you normally don't get to have over. So
Fun stuff. Anything else you like to? You big sports fan or anything like that, or gambler or horse racing or?
I don't gamble. I love to watch football. I love to play sports, but I'm getting kind of older, so I kind of hold back on that. I know you had Garrett out here one time, and he was talking about how he blew out his leg, and so I'm trying not to do that. Last time I played softball, I think I pulled my groin so bad I had a big old black leg, and so I've tried to avoid sports since then. But
Oh man,
I love to be outside. I love to just mountain bike or just take a trail run or something
Oh,
like
nice.
that. So,
Yeah. Enjoy the beauty that the outdoors has to offer in all its shapes and forms.
right, but this 105, 107 is getting a little ridiculous.
Yeah, no kidding. That's someday I hear it will cool down, but I don't know when that'll be. Probably.
I think they were saying 2060 or something like that.
Won't hold my breath. So I've got a question for you here, Mr. DeLeon. What do you think RO can do to retain the best talent? So you've been here for, like I said, about 5 years now, right? Five, 6 years. And if you go look at the numbers, there's that the 0 to 5 year area is pretty heavy, and then that like 5 to 10 year area, it gets kind of light, and then as you get up into the 10, 15, 20 years, it actually kind of builds up where we've got a lot more people. So there's something going on where it's kind of that 5 to 10 year mark that at least for some period of time we are seeing people not hang out. What do you think that's about? How do you think we can keep them around?
So when I'm going to cheat. When you sent that question, the pre-questions over, I was looking at that question. I really stared at it, and I was really trying to think, because I think we do a lot of things to retain quality employees. I mean, with the events, the motivosities, the different accepting feedback from employees. That's something, and actually implementing things that are given back in terms of feedback. Listening is one of the, and implementing the things that people really want is really good. But I don't think there's a lot we can do to actually retain the people that are going to move, because those people are like, we're living in a society now where people actually job hop. They put in 5 years here, 3 years here, and they'll try to leverage that into a different position. And it's a different culture, I think, so to speak, where people don't stay 20, 25 years at a job like our parents or our grandparents did. But I think RO is doing everything that they can in terms of trying to retain good people. It's just going to come down to, what that individual is personally looking for.
Man, that's such a great point, and one that I hadn't, or an aspect of it that I hadn't even really considered, is that it's not, we can only control so much. We can only do so much for people. And I think we do a good job overall taking care of folks and making sure that they're happy and fulfilled with their role and having an opportunity to advance and all that as they see fit. But there is going to be a certain percentage of the population that you could give them the sun and the moon and the stars, and they're still, a year, 2 or 3 later, going to take that new promotion they just got and go
Right.
talk to a recruiter or another company or say, hey, look at me, I'm a PM or a super or what have you. What do you have for me to do?
Right. And I see that RO is really good about, like I said, the feedback, and they're really good about, there's a lot of room to grow. There's always promotions. There's always people being trained in different areas. So there's a lot of opportunity to learn with this company, to get promoted. There's a lot of mentoring. We're doing the mentoring now. There's a lot of that. And that's going to kind of tie into, I guess, one of the questions you have for me is that there are opportunities here. There's a lot of stuff that we're doing as an organization, as a culture, as a business to retain people. But at the end of the day, the people that are going to leave are going to leave, and you try to just value that relationship while it's here and take advantage of it. Now, of course, you want to retain them, but some people chase different things.
Yeah, you can't have everybody.
Right.
Try as you might. If you're trying to capture the top 1% or whatever it is of construction personnel, that's a nearly impossible task.
Right, because there's always going to somebody's always going to come along with signing bonus that's bigger and all that. And at the end of the day, I've been approached. I'm sure you've been approached. People are approached, but you have to decide where you want to be, where you're content at, and the people that just jump around a lot. I don't think it's the organization. I think it's something within themselves they're looking for. They're trying to prove to themselves. So.
Giving people services is a pretty easy pass here. You just tell them, hey, you guys doing great.
Well,
Yeah.
they do a good job. We got
They do.
we got a really good HR department. I'm going to give them a shout out.
I'm assuming Mr. Porter's out there listening to this, or if not now, he will be. So he'll appreciate that.
Well,
Appreciate him getting you arranged to come out here. That's it's funny because I've been here since 2016 or so myself. 2017, I can't recall, and have never been to the yard up in Dallas.
well, you got to come up there. We'll take you out to eat.
And yeah, I'll definitely take you up on that. And I can hear Hagen scheming over there already. Be like, oh, we're going to Dallas. We're going out for lunch. I'll be there. Do you ever feel like being out there at the yard and jumping around between a lot of projects do you ever feel like you're missing an element of kind of teamwork that a lot of the project teams develop as they might spend a year or more on one or multiple projects?
Yes and no. I mean, we have our group of people at the yard as well. There's 5 of us. And so we have formed our relationship. We work together as a team. We respect each other. We're able to benefit from each other's knowledge. So I wish I could get to know some of the other people a little bit more, but I think that's what the opportunities come with the events that we hold are. It gives you an opportunity to interact with other people that you normally wouldn't. So.
And yeah, that's part of too why we wanted to do these. Now we were talking about it a little bit beforehand. There's so many people out there and so many people with interesting stories. I mean, I could talk to you for hours about the prisoner entrepreneurship program that you're involved with, because I feel that so many people out there that are recidivists, it's not out of a desire to be criminals, it's out of a lack of opportunities.
Right.
And most folks just see a criminal record, whether it be something, a silly little misdemeanor for possession when you're in college, or if it's a DUI or what have you, or some felony, and they don't want to hear the story about the person. And I think it's a disservice to not only that person, but also potential employers and their families. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what's happened in their life. And I'm a firm believer of people can and do change. But without having done this, I would have been none the wiser to your experiences.
It was a really fascinating program to work for. And I just think that you have one of the things about that program is you have different executives from different companies, whether it be Coca-Cola, Rogers O'Brien, you even have some IT companies, and they all come in and they're able to learn and they're able to mentor some of these people and create opportunities for them when with jobs when they're out. And so you have some really intelligent people in these programs that are just waiting for an opportunity. And that's one of the great things that I enjoyed about working for, was providing or helping these individuals get these opportunities. So that was awesome.
That's incredible. If you don't mind me asking, how'd you get pulled into that or engaged with that? Was that just a job opening that you applied for? Or
It was a job opening that came available to me, and I thought about it, and I was like, well, let me see what's going on over here, because I've always been really big on helping as a Christian myself. Try to understand that people make mistakes and they need forgiveness, and that we should embrace our total society. I mean, for those that are wanting help, there is help, and that was one of the unique programs, with them having the housing, with them having the entrepreneurship program, and then actually having like opportunities for them to get gainful employment with some of our partners that we had in the program.
Super grateful, yeah, for the ROs and Coca-Colas and whatever IT companies are out there giving people a chance, because they, like I said, it's not going to be for everyone. You're going to have some folks that's the track they've chosen, and for whatever cause, that's where they're going to stay. But I think there's for every one of those, there's probably 5 others that are looking for some way out of the break the cycle. Thank you.
Right.
Seems like a simple word, but it was totally off somewhere else for a moment there. Excuse me. So I was trying to figure out, our clock is not in any way, shape, or form correct. And I thought Dr. Fritz was telling me it was 1:51. I'm like, oh my God, how did we get there so quick? But I think we had 15 minutes left. So we're good. We still got a bit of time. And feel free to cut me off at any point on this topic here. But I'm going to pry a bit, because I'm curious and I'm intrigued to hear from you. Being a Christian, correct?
Correct.
Whenever you look at the modern family unit and all that, do you ever feel like there is, there's fewer and fewer people are engaged with church, and I think that's less so in Texas, but in general, communities seem to be not what they were in the past. Do you feel there's something that those that may consider themselves, oh my goodness, it escaped me again, the folks who don't believe in a God or anything?
Atheists. Gnostics.
Yes, atheists. Do you think there's something that those that are atheists or just not strongly religious could learn from how Catholics live and kind of the attendance of church and all that?
I can answer the Catholic question.
Or Christian, I'm sorry. Yeah.
As far as Christians, I think, like, as far as a society, I think we've become more introverted. So we're not as outgoing as we used to be. Like, everybody's more in home, or they're more private, I guess, so to speak. And then, of course, you had the situation in 2020 that occurred where everybody kind of stayed home, everybody kind of withdrew, and they got used to doing their own little circles and things, and nobody just really got to interacting with a lot of people. So that's going back to RO, is one of the things I like, is that they do create these events to where people are able to interact more and get to know each other more. And I think as a Christian, you should interact more with your community. I think that being involved, not withdrawn, is a big, we're called to go forth, and go out and plant seeds, water seeds, and harvest, and so if we don't do that, if we're just staying in our own little bubble, I don't think we're benefiting anybody other than directly those around us. And we're supposed to have an impact on our communities, on our country, on our world, and I don't think we're doing that. I don't do that as well as I should be doing. So,
and it's so tough too, I think, because this is something I've struggled with my whole life. Is I'm on team humans here. I love people, all of them, even the ones that you'd probably look at and say, why would you get along with them? I still find love for them. But you should probably care for your family more than you care for your neighbor's family. You should probably care for your neighbor's family more than you care about a family 3 states over, right? Because you, at least the way I see it, those are the people that you can impact the most. So
Right. You
I
make an
want-
impact in everything, whether it's your job or whether it's your household or it's your community, you know, your neighbor next to you. You try to make an impact everywhere that you're at. You try to have some kind of positive sway and lead by example, so to speak, by your values, by your morals, and that is where we make the biggest statement. And if we're staying home, if we're not outreaching, we're not doing that. We're just keeping it to ourselves. It's like, you just got this, and I'm going to guard it. Nobody else can. I'm not going to share it. But that's where, as a Christian, you share. And as far as somebody that's doesn't believe, you just I think you treat them with the same amount of respect, and just try to be kind to them, just as you would expect them to be. But you do it I do it for a different reason. I do it because it motivates me. It's a calling for me, as well as trying to be a good person. So I don't really want to go too far into
You're
that.
good. Yeah. This is not somewhere I intend, but just something that, like I said, very interests me. Is it does seem like, I was born in 86, so I don't know how old I am. I'm like in my mid to late 30s. But it does seem like the communities are more dissolved than they once were. And
Right.
It does seem like those that have a strong church community, that has happened less with.
Well, even going, it's like there was a time when there were so many more people. Now there's just like everybody does everything online. You know, everything's Zoom, everything's just, I'm going to catch in online. I'm sure you got people that, you know, they attend all these seminars and they're doing it virtually. You know, everything's going into virtual reality, and it's kind of, I guess, people that are in R&D and IT, they appreciate that, but we're so withdrawn, you know, on our terms, and that's one of the things I like to interact with people, and I like to get to know people, and getting to know people in the company, as you said, where sometimes you don't always get that opportunity, but sometimes you do. And so I know one of the questions, I'm going to jump ahead on,
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
that what would I tell a young Benjamin, is that I would listen more. I would try to take advantage of the people that I was around in terms of mentoring. I would try to really have listened to them and develop those relationships more. At the time when I would just, like, when you're younger, you blow people off. When you're older, you try to listen more and you try to understand more about people and develop those relationships. I think as a younger Benjamin, I didn't take advantage of those opportunities, whether it was in school, whether it was with teachers, or, you know, just family members in general. I would tell myself to just take advantage of the people around you. And that even right now, currently, there's so many people that are around us that we can learn from, that can groom us, that can mentor us, and we ourselves can be mentors and groom the people underneath us. And going back to your other question, that would help us possibly to form those relationships that would possibly help us to retain the better employees.
My gosh, that was fantastic. I could not feel more strongly in agreement with you about the being young and taking advantage of the mentors. I think there were plenty of people in my life who were trying to, hey, look at this, pay attention, listen, do this thing. It'll benefit you in the long term. And as a young kid, so hard-headed and ignorant and arrogant that I was just like, no, I'm going to figure it out. And I think I did learn some lessons that I would not have elsewise learned in life, but trying to convince a 16 to 25-year-old headstrong kid about anything. Like, I don't know how parents do it. Do you have any tips or tricks as far as how to convey those messages effectively?
You just have to spend time with people. You know, that's because it's one thing to give advice to somebody that doesn't know you. It's another thing to give advice to somebody that you're fostering a relationship with, you're spending time with, you're developing. They're going to listen to you more than somebody that just tells you something on a random, you know, somebody that you're getting to know somebody that you're developing with. So
That is, it's funny because it kind of comes full circle back to the preventative maintenance. You know what I mean? If you take care of that equipment, if you spend the time knowing the equipment, if you know that if you're a 10K operator and you're on it every day and you're checking the tire pressures and you're making sure the oil's topped off and looking for, signs of moisture in the hydraulic fluid and all that, as soon as something starts to go wrong, oh man, something's not going well here. Let me go ahead and take care of it. And you can convey the message to a mechanic and they can go in there and fix the solution. But if you wait until the last minute and say, nothing works, it won't start, it's totally dead, and they can't give you good information, now you're facing a battle that's going to be a real struggle to get the issue resolved. And, kind of similar with a person, if you cultivate that relationship and you're not just there to be extractive upon them and you want to help them and be a friend, if you will, be a mentor and all that, then whenever they do need something, you've built up that trust, that social credit with them,
right.
where they're actually going to listen to you.
Right. So that's the big thing. And, even with the guys in the field, when you take them a piece of equipment, and you're dropping it off and you kind of run through it and you're like, hey, are you doing all right? How's everything going? Talk to them, not just, hey, do this, do this, do this. You create relationships. You try to foster them. And that's always something that I believe you should always do when you're living and moving around. So
get out there, talk with some people. They're all... I don't know if I've met too many people that I've talked with for a period of time and said, oh, well, that I didn't get anything from that. Right. Usually, at the very least, you get some sort of interesting story from them, whether they traveled a bunch or, you meet someone like we had Hector Medrano on a couple weeks ago and, graduated high school when he was 16, was out of college when he was 19 or something like
wow.
that.
That's
and I was
impressive.
like, what? I had no idea. And if no one ever takes, time to go have lunch with him, you'll never know that he is such an incredibly smart individual. You'd probably just say, oh, he's a PM. He probably went to school and graduated when he's 23, 24, whatever's normal for people.
Right.
But yeah, you have to kind of slow down and actually get to know someone. And I really think the most critical part there you've mentioned a couple of times is listen. You've got to be willing to slow down and listen to someone for a minute to really embrace who they are and what message they're trying to deliver to you.
Well, yeah, and I actually talk too much, so I'm trying to listen now.
No, this has been fantastic, Benjamin. We've got a couple minutes left here. What do you get most excited about whenever you wake up in the morning?
Just another day. Just is exciting to me that the opportunities that day is going to hold. Because like I told you earlier, I don't know what I'm going to do from day to day. I know I'm going to go to work, and I know I'm going to go. I have my plans to work on certain pieces of equipment, or we have certain plans to get certain things ready for another job or pick up from another job. But I'm just really excited to be able to interact with the people that I'm going to meet at the job site, whether it's my boss or whether it's my coworkers. I work with some really impressive people that have a lot of knowledge in all different areas, and I learned something. I'm always learning something from my coworkers, and I know they have to be very patient with all of it, but it's fun. I get a thrill out of waking up and having a chance to go make a mark and do something that's you're going to see the benefits of it. Maybe not now, but you'll see the benefits. Like I can't tell you how many times we've started a job and I just remember when it was just a big hole, and then at the end of the job coming to do something and you see this building, and that a lot of people put their time, energy, and focus into this, and it's a legacy. And it's like the same thing with the people we work with. It's just every day you invest or somebody invests in you, and you're just reaping from that every day. So
the opportunity to learn.
Right.
Heard that from
and
a couple
there's
other
a
folks.
lot of opportunities to learn, so in the yard and with the company and just in general life. So
Well, Mr. DeLeon, really appreciate you making the drive down and hanging out with us for a bit here. Hope that wasn't too painful for you.
Yeah, you're gonna have to like dry this couch out because I'm sweating. I appreciate you having us over, and we look forward to having y'all come to Dallas. And we got the Austin yard going, so I'm sure I'll be interacting a little bit more with Austin and getting to know y'all as well. So I look forward to that.
And congrats to everyone out there that were the winners of the AI challenge, and congrats to everyone that got an idea in. Those were some really clever ideas that I saw come in. I think we had 21 submissions, if I recall correctly, and around 250 votes cast total. So, could always use more love, but we enjoy the engagement we're seeing there. Next Wednesday, we'll be back with Mr. Brandon Arias. I think he's over at South Mar right now, but he'll be sitting down with us next Wednesday, talk a little bit about being a superintendent and what his path is like and how he's found success. Care for your equipment. Make sure you're checking the oil, kicking those tires from time to time. Don't wait till it's screaming for help to call up the yard and let them know that you need some maintenance done. And the last thing I'll leave you with, and something that came to mind whenever you're talking about planting those seeds and growing them, and I think it was the Greeks. I couldn't tell you who said something to the extent of society thrives when trees are planted that men won't see grow, or something along those lines. I'm screwing it up right now.
I think I've heard that, and I don't somewhere.
I butchered delivery so bad it means nothing.
But we get the gist. So we got the gist.
Yeah. Think about the future. See what you can do to make the world a better place. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having me. I enjoyed being here.
Our pleasure.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.